feel today? Ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin straps.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! It's a wrap. Game over.
Nah, that game ain't over. Just getting started right here on the lunch break, powered by Jones Media and Entertainment and broadcasting live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Good folks over there. All you got to do, if you got a Roku streaming device, download BS3 TV. Download it, and you will find some great programming. Man, I was on the show last night with the Fourcast, F-O-U-R cast, and we did a movie review on the movie Respect, featuring none other than Jennifer Holliday and a whole bunch of other nice stars with some good acting. Great show. I enjoyed it. Want to thank all the fellas from the Fourcast for letting me hang out with them last night. I hope they'll have me back. And then, of course, there are going to be some really good shows tonight, like Queen 3 and King, featuring none other than King Doc. That'll be tonight, 7 o'clock Central, right there on BS3 TV. Again, Roku streaming device, download BS3 TV. You're going to have everything you need right there. All right, it's Talk Your Team Tuesday. We just finished the NFL draft, and everybody's talking about their team's grade. Everybody's talking about who they got, who they should have gotten, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just going to tell you, man, what a draft, how exciting it is for these young men to hear their names called, to walk across the stage, for those of them who were there, to be with their closest friends and family and be able to celebrate that moment. We saw some dads go off. We saw some moms go off. I saw a sister that was all in the shot. She was like, yeah. I mean, she just wouldn't get out of the way. It's like, he got drafted. I know y'all got drafted, but can we see him? So it was fun to watch. It was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And again, congratulations to all those young people who got selected in this past NFL draft. Now the next thing is for them to make the team. You know, they gotta, of course, agree to some type of contract with their respective teams, and then they got to show up and they got to show out. They've got to rise from just being a drafted player or a rookie to being able to make the team. And, you know, I also got to send some love out to the folks who were not drafted but still signed as undrafted free agents. And a number of them came from HBCUs. One in particular, I really hope things work out for him. And that is the young man, Akil Glass, quarterback out of Alabama A&M. He was signed as an undrafted free agent by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And all I'll say is this: Todd Bowles, keep him. Byron Leftwich, keep him. And Akil, suck up everything you can from Tom Aloysius Brady. Whatever he does out there on that field, you do. Whatever he does in the workouts, you do. Brother, make the most out of that opportunity right there. Right there. So, again, congratulations to, Akil and many others who, thank goodness, were selected or signed as an undrafted free agent. In fact, first time in HBCU history, 4 HBCU players were drafted in the NFL draft. Now, I know we've had Hall of Famers come through, but 4 in the same draft at the same time hadn't happened before. So congratulations to each and every one of them. Marquise Bell got signed as an undrafted free agent. So wishing him well. Young man out of FAMU. So there we go. So it's Talk Your Team Tuesday. I want to hear from you today. What do you think about your team and how they did at the NFL draft? What do you think about your team and how they did at the NFL draft? I would be very, very, very curious to see what you think about your team. So you can drop me a line right here on the stream. If you're listening to us on Facebook or Meta, which we won't be on long. I'm working on that so hard. I can't even see straight. If you're checking us out on YouTube, if you're checking us out on Twitch, or if you're checking us out on Roku, then all you got to do is drop your message right here on the stream. I'll see it. I'll read it. I'll post it up. What do you think about your team? Cowboy fans, what do you think about your team and their draft? Texan fans, what do you think about your team and their draft? Who Dat fans, what do you think about your team and the draft? And for my hometown Who Dey fans, what do you think about the Bengals? Are they going back to the Super Bowl based on what they did in the draft? So let's hit it up. Let's talk about it. You can also text me 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005. And I'll definitely read those text messages as well. All right, all that. And then we're also going to talk about the NBA playoffs. Man, I feel like today is a day of mourning for one NBA player's career. I feel like today is a day of mourning for an NBA player's career. James Harden literally had eulogies spoken and written about him based on his play last night in the NBA playoffs. I mean, literally, folks have literally written James Harden off. The man had 16 points, 9 rebounds. Yeah, it was on 5 of 13 shooting, but there are people that have literally buried the man's career. And you know me. For those of y'all been following me since my days in radio on KYOK with the lunch break, big shout out to Linda J and Ferdinand and Carmelio and Clarence and all the good folks over there. Annette, all the good folks over there. Todd Malcolm has got his head up out of witness protection. But for those who know me from over there, I don't like to bury nobody's career. I don't like to bury nobody's career. I'm hard on you when I'm hard on you, but when it comes to people burying your career and calling it over, and they never took one shot for you, they never scored one touchdown for you, they never caught one pass for you, they never blocked nobody for you, they never tackled nobody for you, they never hit anything for you. But yet they want to be the ones to be right. CJ, definitely CJ. Hey, CJ, how you doing? You all right? You look good. I like CJ, y'all. Anyway, I don't like people who call other people's careers over. I don't like that. I even stood up for Tom Brady when he was in New England that last year, but he's done. He's done. I'm just telling you, he's done. And none of them, not one. I'm not saying they had to play the game. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it wrong. I'm not saying they had to play the game, but you've invested nothing in them other than your opinion and your attention. Oh, I bought a jersey. I bought jerseys every year. I'm sorry, you're a consumer. You're not a player. You're not a coach. You're not even a scout. And FYI, a lot of them get it wrong. I'm not for burying somebody's career. Say they're not playing well. You know, you can even bring up history and say, you know, usually in the playoffs, this person doesn't play well. But burying their career, killing them, calling them over. Donna Coleman-Holman, my sister. What's up, Queen? I got to put yours up. She said Todd Malcolm has been released from the FBI's witness protection program. Yeah, he's in federal witness protection program. It just ain't no local level stuff he dealing with, because every other year he go back in. Every other year he go back in. Hey, Donna, thank you for your services. So anyway, that's the part I'm a little bit. And then you get the headlines. Stephen A. Smith just rips James Harden. So-and-so just ripped James Harden. I don't care. James Harden has got another chance to go out there and score 30. He got another chance to go out there and score 45. All we have is another chance to sit here and talk about it. Talk about the play. Leave the careers alone. I fought for Tom Brady. Everybody thought Tom Brady's career was over in New England. All he did was change teams and win another chip. Donna Coleman-Holman, why doesn't anyone want Baker Mayfield? Can I take a break and we talk about that when we come back? Let me take a quick break and we'll talk about that when we come back real quick. Let me get you a little hyped about the cinematic affair coming up on July 16th. I'm in a movie, y'all. Not a play. I'm in a movie, and I'll be a part of the cinematic affair. 3-night event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday night will be a red carpet event, mix and mingle. Saturday will be the actual movie. Sunday will be a brunch event with the actors and writers and everybody. So check it out. Cinematic affair. And then there is a 5K coming up on Mother's Day. I was supposed to run in it. Let me just give you the breaking news. I will not be running in it, but doesn't mean you shouldn't still register. So 9 months of 5K, the number 9 months of the number 5K.org, so you can register for that. But anyway, here are the actual clips. Be right back right after this on the lunch break.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alexia McClurkin. I'm the founder of 9 Months of 5K, a nonprofit that was started to dispel the misconception that pregnant women shouldn't work out during their pregnancy. We are focused on health, fitness, nutrition, and wellness. We're hosting our annual 5K on Mother's Day.
right, y'all. Look, that's a little bit of everything and everybody I got going on. Todd, hush your mouth, brother. I've been working out. I've been training for this 5K for a minute. Was definitely looking forward to being part of it. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm not competing in a 5K. I don't have to win the doggone thing, but I was definitely on pace to finish it. You just got to take care of some family business. So hush your mouth before I put these paws on you. You know, you was that kid on the block that people used. You didn't scare nobody. You didn't scare nobody on the block, Todd. So anyway, CJ, Ben Sutter III, man, thank you again for the opportunity last night to be a part of the forecast, man. I am really, really, really excited about, what we did last night, how we talked about it. And then it was brothers, man. 5 brothers sitting there talking about a very well done, Black-owned, Black-produced movie about one of the greatest of all time, bar anything, and that is the late, great Aretha Franklin. Look, Queen Riri, and I'm not talking about Rihanna for all you test tube babies out there trying to convince me. The original Rihanna was Riri. Now, before Rihanna was even a thought, before she was even an embryo, let me tell you something. It was Aretha Franklin. So Ben Sutter III doing great, great work on the BS3 network, BS3 TV on your ROKU streaming device. All right, CJ says, I am coming to that movie. You got to check it out. Again, just go to thecinematicaaffair.com to get your tickets. Thecinematicaaffair.com to get your tickets. All right, so let's see. Todd does say something kind of lucid. He says the Cowboys draft were reaches at every pick. Let me go over to their draft real quick, and let me see what I think about. I think about their draft. All right, Dallas Cowboys, since Todd brought them out first. With their first pick, round 1, number 24, they got Tyler Smith, an offensive lineman out of Tulsa, and he comes with a very high draft grade. He comes with a very high draft grade, and they definitely needed help on the offensive line, and you got to look. There were not many of the studs left at 24. So I think they got good value with that pick at 24. So I don't think that one was a reach. And then in round 2, at number 56, they got some D-line help that they desperately needed. And that was Sam Williams, a defensive lineman out of Mississippi, 6'4", 261. I can see him kind of on the edge, unless they're going to bulk him up and put him in that middle to try and stop the run. Again, good value right there based on what was left at that time. Second round, 56 pick. You weren't getting, Thibodeau. You weren't getting Hutchinson. You weren't getting one of those guys. I think maybe the only thing that they could have done was the young man from Michigan gone at that time. The young man who suffered the injury on his pro day. If he was still there, then they could have done the exact same thing that they did with the young man that they got out of Notre Dame, who got hurt in the bowl game and turned out to be a player for them. They could have done the same thing, but they got a young man who could help them right there. And then in round 3, the wide receiver out of South Alabama, that one might have been a pick, a reach right there. I think that's where they really started reaching in rounds 3, 4, 5, definitely the John Ridgeway defensive lineman out of Arkansas. That was definitely a reach. And then their last pick, the linebacker out of Oklahoma State, Devin Harper, I think that was a reach. But I'll give them credit for picks, their first, second, third, fourth, and maybe even their 5th pick. I give them, they got value for what was available at that time, and it filled the need. Because, listen, they got an offensive lineman with their first pick. They got a defensive lineman with their second pick. They got a wide receiver, which they needed because, remember, they traded away Amari Cooper. They got a tight end. Remember, they let their one of their backup tight ends go. They got another offensive lineman with their 5th pick. And then that second pick in the 5th round, they got Deron Bland, defensive back out of Fresno State. He had a B grade on him. And again, that B grade was not based on him being a 5th rounder. that B grade was he was a better than average pick in that round. Better than average. So I don't think they start reaching until after their 5th or 6th pick in the draft. And that only leaves 3 picks that they reached on. Damon Clark, John Ridgway, and Devin Harper. And who knows what can happen with them. Who knows what can happen with them. For me, the Cowboys start and finish with that offensive line. So whether they do it through the draft or through free agency, the Dallas Cowboys have got to fix that offensive line. And then the next thing that was a problem for them was the secondary. They've got to fix that secondary. A lot of folks, Zeke Elliott is trash. He's done. But with Ezekiel Elliott, give him an offensive line to run behind, he can do what he can make it do what it's supposed to do. He can definitely make it do what it's supposed to do. So, Keith Hennick, real quick, Keith, before you jumped on, I talked about an undrafted free agent that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers picked up in quarterback Akil Glass out of Alabama A&M. I'm not saying he is day one starter ready, but that young man is NFL quarterback ready. He's got the body. He played in the system that was NFL. I mean, that young man, and I said to head coach Todd Bowles, keep him. I said to offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich, keep him. I said to Akil Glass, whatever you see Tom Brady do in the workouts, whatever you see Tom Brady do in training camp, do that. Make the most out of that opportunity to try and learn and glean from Tom Brady. Akil Glass has a high football IQ. He's got good feet, good hands. He makes real quick reads. I don't want to hear what any of the other NFL scouts think about him because very few of them went down to his Alabama A&M games. Very few of them. I don't care what they say. I ain't step over none of them when they came up and played at Prairie View. Came up and played at TSU. I ain't step over none of them. So I don't want to hear, oh, yeah, we followed him extensively. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Congratulations to the Saints for getting the Honey Badger. I'm telling you, bro, that's going to be a good pick. That's going to be a good matchup. Again, when he was here in Houston, he solidified that secondary. He is truly a quarterback of the defense. And then when he left, you saw Justin Reed sometimes did, other times didn't. Very rarely did Tyrann Mathieu not have that secondary on lock when he was in Kansas City, when he was here in Houston, and now hopefully he's got some left to do it in New Orleans. Keith Hennick, the Bucs have a very crowded quarterback room. Somebody has to go. Yeah, I just hope it's not Akil Glass. I hope they're smart enough to make Akil Glass at least their practice team quarterback. At least. I would carry him on the 53. But I get it. There's only so many rooms. There's only so much room. But we'll see. In fact, let me look at that while we're talking about it. Let's look at it. Teams. Tampa Bay. It's Talk Your Team Tuesday on the lunch break, powered by Jones Media and Entertainment and broadcasting live on Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. So I'm getting ready to look at the roster for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I want to see where they are at quarterback. Okay, here we go. Down there, QB. Tom Brady, yeah, they're not cutting him. Blaine Gabbert, they're not cutting him. Ryan Griffin, Kyle Trask, and now Akil Glass. He can make the practice squad. My odd man out would be Ryan Griffin, Kyle Trask. Those would be my odd man out. I'd run with Brady and Gabbert. I mean, if they want to keep Trask as an emergency quarterback, Griffin would be my odd man out. I know they've got, time invested in Trask. They hoped he would be the quarterback of the future. But Blaine Gabbert, you can't get a better backup than him right now in that system. And then again, Ryan Griffin, do I want mayonnaise or do I want Miracle Whip? That's that decision right there. And Kyle Trask, again, I know he's young. I know, what is he, a third-year player? What's Trask? Second season. So, yeah, he probably isn't going anywhere. Akil probably, unless Akil just gets in there and shows out. Question is whether or not he'll have the chance. All right, we're about to hit the bottom of the hour. Let me run through my commercials again from our sponsors, and then we'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alexia McClurkin. I'm the founder of 9 Months of 5K, a nonprofit that was started to dispel the misconception that pregnant women shouldn't work out during their pregnancy. We are focused on health, fitness, nutrition, and wellness. We're hosting our annual 5K on Mother's Day.
Man, I tell you, I cannot thank Ben Sutter III and the family enough for letting me be a part of BS3 TV. If you have a ROKU streaming device, just download BS3 TV. You're going to find some great programming. You just saw some of it there. And I'm telling you, you'll thank me later. You will thank me later. Let me go back to a question that Donna Coleman-Holman had earlier, where she said, why don't people want Baker Mayfield? Let me see where Donna had that question. I want to put it up. There it is. Oh, no, that was What a Movie. Okay, here we go. Here it is right here. Donna, the reason why people don't want Baker Mayfield is right there in your question. Baker Mayfield. If the stuff that made the news is enough to make people question his maturity and his, his position as a good teammate, what have you, and then you add that with his actual play, and I'm talking about totality. I'm not talking about the one-offs. I'm not talking about, he led them to the playoffs a couple of years ago. I'm talking about since then and before then. Baker Mayfield had one of the best rosters on paper and on the field. And granted, folks were hurt here and folks were hurt there. But when you look at that running game, when you look at those wide receivers, when you look at that defense, tight ends, it was hard to mess that up. But guess who found a way to mess that up? Baker Mayfield. I get he was given carte blanche under the first administration after Hugh Jackson. But that ain't who was in the building after that. And if Baker Mayfield was not smart enough to adapt to the people who were running the show, how they wanted the show run, and produce on the field, well, he can't blame nobody but himself for that. And trust me, he tried to blame everybody from Duke Johnson to, Odell Beckham Jr. to, Hugh Jackson. He tried to blame everybody. And let me just pause right there and make it about me. I don't like people who blame everybody and take no responsibility. Then you add in there his wife. And yeah, you got to add in there his wife. It's a lot. And oh yeah, did I mention he was not winning with one of the best rosters in the game? To Mike Patton's point, touring the AFC South, Baker short, and isn't a leader in my opinion. I'll leave the size thing alone because, he made it. He's overcome that everywhere he's been. But I don't think he's a leader either. I think he talks like a leader. I think he tries to act like a leader. It's almost like the whole dancing thing. He wants to act so cool. Oh, look at me. I can do all of that. Bruh, the hell does that have to do with any wins and losses? You being able to shimmy has what to do with winning the AFC North? While Baker Mayfield was doing all of that nonsense, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals were making their way to the Super Bowl. Which would you want? Talk Your Team Tuesday here on the lunch break. Which would you want? Somebody shimmying and doing a bunch of dumb ass commercials, or would you want somebody that's got their head down, working with their wide receivers, not trying to alienate anybody, and getting his team to the Super Bowl? Last I heard, it's a business. It's a business. Well, in the business of football, Baker Mayfield ain't good for business. So you had teams that literally were wanting to trade for him that decided to go in other directions. And man, that little tweet from Duke Johnson with the train having run off the tracks and being in fire, cartoon. It was a cartoon, not a real life situation. I know there have been horrific train accidents out there. But for those who are not trying to find everything wrong with what everybody else does, when Duke Johnson was trying to negotiate his contract for his money based on his play, Baker Mayfield got in that man's business and said, either you're going to jump on this train or you're going to get off. Well, Duke Johnson waited a couple of years, and now he sent Baker a reminder. Your train has run off the tracks and is burning up. Now you have no train. I thought it was a very good comeback. I thought it was a great clap back. So that's why people don't want Baker Mayfield. Take all the dancing out. Take all the false vibrato out. Let's just look at the results. He's got one playoff appearance. And yeah, they almost made it. Yeah, they were a play away and all that kind of stuff. But what have they done since then? What did they do before then? What have they done? Oh, he's hurt. Okay, yeah. And our whole season has to be destroyed because one guy who talks a lot and can dance and does a bunch of commercials gets hurt. Sounds like a bad investment to me. So he'll end up somewhere. He will end up somewhere. There is no doubt in my mind that somebody will get hurt in training camp or somebody will not work out, and Baker Mayfield will end up on somebody's roster. He will probably be a starter again. Somebody will believe that Baker Mayfield can start for them. For Christ's sake, if Mike Glennon and Blaine Gabbert can stay in the league as long as they did, Josh McCown can stay in the league as long as he did, Baker Mayfield can stay in the league. Maybe. I'll say this, though. His train is closer to being over than it is to starting up again. I believe that. I believe Baker Mayfield's career is closer to being over than it is to being successful. I don't see anybody taking Baker Mayfield and making him the face of their franchise again. Somebody will, give him a shot to start again, but going all in on Baker's our guy, I don't see that. I just don't. Is it fair? I don't care. It's the business. It's the way it works. It's the way it works. Baker Mayfield's looking closer to Johnny Manziel than he ever has. And guess what happened with Johnny? Never got another shot. Never got another shot. All right, who else you got? Mike Patton touring the AFC South. We had a great show on his show. He had somebody representing the Indianapolis Colts. He had somebody representing the Tennessee Titans. He had somebody representing the Jacksonville Jaguars. And believe it or not, he had my crazy behind on there representing the Houston Texans based on the draft. And, man, it was a phenomenal show. If you are not following Mike Patton touring the AFC South, then you're missing out. So you can follow him on YouTube. You can follow him on Twitter. You can follow him on Facebook. But Mike Patton touring the AFC South, great show. Go back and check that out. I'm telling you, man, these guys brought some real good in-depth knowledge about the draft and about the teams in the AFC South. And again, I was grateful to be a part of that deal. Interestingly enough, Nick Caserio, general manager for the Houston Texans, held an interview yesterday. I didn't get a clip of it. Held an interview yesterday, and he basically went off on the Todd McShays of the world and all the draft experts of the world, saying, I don't care what they think of our draft. I don't care about their draft grades for our draft. What we got to find out is if these players can actually play, which I thought was an interesting comment, given that, most of them you drafted because they could play. But I get it. Not all college players can transition their game to the NFL level. But my point is, I'm not big on draft grades either. I'm not huge on draft grades either, especially when they come from, certain people. But I'll say this. What I'm more interested in is whether or not Nick Caserio knows how to draft. That's what I'm more interested in. Nick Caserio wasn't leading the draft in New England. And once again, the ownership here in Houston, Cal McNair running the team for his mother, Janice, has put all of the hopes and dreams of Texan fans in the hands of somebody that I don't know if he can run a whole draft by himself. I don't think he ran it by himself, but I'm just saying he's the face of the war room. So I'm wondering how these players are going to play out, how they're going to make out. Derek Stingley Jr., they're expecting him to come in and start. They're expecting the offensive lineman out of A&M to come in and start. They drafted 4 offensive players, 5 defensive players. I would say he's got to hit on, that's 9. I would say he's got to hit on 7 of those. Yeah, 7. I'm not going to give him credit for 6 out of 9 or 5 out of 9. Definitely not giving him credit for 4 out of 9. Hell, we could have kept Rick Smith if that was the case. Rick Smith was money from round 1, round 2, round 3. It was the rest of the rounds after that it got a little iffy. So let's not move the goalposts and lower the bar now that we're talking about Nick Caserio. He's got to hit on 6 to 7 out of that 9. My opinion. You came with all that fanfare out of New England. You got everybody believing that you were the man in New England. You're going to be the GM that can duplicate what happened in New England. Yeah, you got to hit out of 6 out of 7, 6 out of 9, 7 out of 9, in my opinion, for all that to be true. Otherwise, they could have kept what they had before Bill O'Brien. All right, again, Keith Hennick announced the big news that the Saints have picked up Tyrann Mathieu. Again, huge. Tyrann Mathieu is a safety blanket, security blanket back there in that secondary. And Dennis Allen needs that because he likes to put a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks with that front and with those linebackers. So we'll see how that works out. But I think Tyrann Mathieu being able to play at home is huge. I'm happy for him. All right, got to get ready to take my final break. But I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the NFL draft? Somebody said, hey, you smooching in this movie? Are you smooching? I want to know if you're smooching in this movie. No, I do not have a love scene in the movie. I'm begging for one. I just don't have, my agent hadn't been able to pull that off yet. Need a new agent. Who's my agent? Me. Who's my agent? Me. All right, so anyway, let me take my break, come back, get ready to wrap it up. And no, I'm not doing an additional hour of the show. I'm telling you, man, we did, 2 hours of the forecast last night with 5 dudes. I was worn out after I got off there. I was like, oh, man, I'm tired. I put in a full day's work. I'll be right back right after this on the lunch break.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alexia McClurkin. I'm the founder of 9 Months of 5K, a nonprofit that was started to dispel the misconception that pregnant women shouldn't work out during their pregnancy. We are focused on health, fitness, nutrition, and wellness. We're hosting our annual 5K on Mother's Day.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break, powered by Jones Media and Entertainment, JM&E, and we're on Roku, courtesy of BS3. That's right. If you got a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV, and you'll see all those great shows that you just saw right there. I'm telling you, great people, great hosts, great network. BS3 is where you need to be. All right. So let me go ahead and wrap it up, and I want to wrap it up with the NBA playoffs. Last night, Miami took a 1-game-to-none lead on the Philadelphia 76ers, who are without Joel Embiid for at least the first 2 games. He has a fracture in his orbital area, and he is recovering from a concussion. Orbital socket fracture and concussion. Yeah, he's going to be out for at least the first 2. Last night, James Harden did not step up for the squad, and they dropped a game that they really could have won. They could have pulled that one out last night. They got off to a slow start, down by 8 after the first. They outscored Miami in the second. They, again, had a very slow start to the third. They got outscored by 9. and then they got outscored by 6 in the fourth, and they ended up losing by 14. Ended up losing by 14. Difference 27 for Tobias Harris. He definitely stepped up. They only got 5 out of Green. Talking about Philly now. They got 4 out of Jordan, 16 out of Harden, and 19 out of Maxey, and they literally got very little off the bench. Very little off the bench. Korkmaz had 9 off the bench, but they got to have more than that to try to replace, 30 points and double-digit rebounds from Joel Embiid. That's where a James Harden has to step up. He didn't do that last night. I'm not going to make excuses for him. 5 for 13, 2 for 7 from 3, 5 turnovers. I mean, it's a bad night. It was a bad night for him. And I'm sorry, DeAndre Jordan is, get your money, dog. Get your money. I'm not going to call his career over, but get your money. Get your money, player. I mean, they got to come with better in the middle than what they got out of DeAndre Jordan last night. Last night, Bam Adebayo had a big night for Miami, 24 and 12. But the problem was the 25 they got from Tyler Hero, 25 off the bench. And I said to somebody that Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson had not been playing well. Tyler Hero got well last night. Duncan Robinson still not there. Still not there. What did he do last night? What did Robinson do last night? He didn't play. He didn't play at all last night. So, Philly's got to figure it out. Philly's got to figure it out. And again, them losing game number 1 to the number 1 seed, not a big deal. Them losing game 2, not the end of the series. If they lose game 3 with Joel Embiid, because he's expected to play in game 3 or 4. If they lose game 3 with Joel Embiid or without him, now they're in trouble. Now they're in trouble. James Harden has got to figure it out. He's got to help pick up that slack from what they're losing with Joel Embiid. And then the other game last night, man, I tell you, the dude just does not get old. And I'm talking about CP3 and the Phoenix Suns. Last night, Chris Paul, 19 points. 5 rebounds, only 3 assists, 7 for 13. Man, I'm telling you, for all y'all who are just 3 crazy, you got to hit the 3. It's a more productive shot. The analytics and da-da-da-da-da. Chris Paul's team is not the same team without him having a almost immaculate, almost flawless mid-range game. His mid-range game stops runs by other teams. His mid-range games helps other teams just trade baskets with Phoenix. His mid-range game helps other players on his team get themselves together, get their nerves down, and then get in their bag. And I'm telling you, Chris Paul does stuff that a lot of people just do not give him credit for. Chris Paul is that dude, man. He is definitely that dude. Then they got 23 and 9 out of Booker, got 25 out of Ayton. Ayton has really taken his game to another level. He is truly a big man's big man. And then Cam Johnson is coming into his own in this round and last round of the series. He had 17, shot 50% from 3 and 60% from the field. That's a good night every night. And then last night, man, Luka carried the load for the Mavericks. They got very little from Jalen Brunson. Very little from Brunson. 45 from Luka, 13 from Brunson. They need 45 from Luka, 25 from Brunson, and and the other guys have to step up. They got 19 from Kleba off the bench. He is definitely their bench guy, but they can't be all Luka. We saw it in previous series and previous years. One guy can't beat 5, especially a team as deep as the Phoenix Suns. So that was last night. Phoenix got that win, 121-114. Tonight, it's game 2 of Boston and Milwaukee. And again, Ime Udoka, the head coach or the coach of the Boston Celtics, said, we were surprised by the physicality of the Milwaukee Bucks. And that was without Chris Middleton. Brooklyn was outdone by the physicality of the Boston Celtics. Couldn't overcome that. Boston couldn't handle the physicality of Milwaukee. We'll see if they get up to it tonight. It'll tip off at 6 o'clock. Again, no Middleton. We'll see if the young guns, Tatum and Brown and the other guys can get it together for the Boston Celtics. I think that's going to be a good matchup tonight. Tips off at 6 o'clock Central. And then Memphis hosting Golden State. Tips off at 9. Both of them on TNT. A lot of questions about whether or not Draymond Green should have been ejected. And then people are talking about Golden State sweeping Memphis. I don't think that's going to happen. And in fact, I expect Memphis to respond tonight with a dub against Golden State. I expect Memphis to respond with a dub. And here's the thing. They don't have to depend on Ja Morant. They are that balanced. They are that deep. They're just young. So we'll see. Keith Hennig, is anyone going to beat the Suns? I got Milwaukee and the Suns back in. the NBA Finals this year. I do. Touring the AFC South, Mike Patton says, I ain't mad at the money bag with commercials, but I just don't jive with him. Who we talking about, Mike? Who we talking about? We talking about Ja. We talking about Baker. We talking about who? Chris Paul. Who we talking about, bro? Let me know. I'm getting ready to wrap it up and get ready to go, man. This 1 hour is perfect, man. It's perfect. This is a lunch break. This is a lunch break. I told King Doc last night, everybody ain't like him. We ain't running our own businesses and can take that 2-hour lunch, man. I got to get it in. I really got to get it in 15 minutes. Sometimes I'll ease into it for 30, but an hour is the max I can do because I got to be on to the next thing. I got to be on to the next thing. Keith Hennig says, I think it, Bookie. I think it, Bookie. Oh, Bakey. I think it's Bakey he's talking about. Listen, Baker Mayfield got way too much too soon. That At Home with Baker series, I ain't mad at him getting his money. I'm not mad at that. I'm not. I'm like Mike Patton, if that's who he's talking about. I'm not mad about that. But it was too much for a young quarterback who needs a little help checking his ego. He needs a little help checking his ego. He can't keep that in check by himself. So we'll see. He'll end up somewhere. I think his career is closer to being over than it is to revitalizing. And again, I'm not calling his career over. I'm just giving an opinion. I think he's got to make it work wherever he ends up, or he could be done. Some of us take 2-hour lunch. I wish you would. Nah, I can't no more, man. I don't even want to. USFL, yeah. The Houston Gamblers blew a 23-14 lead and ended up losing 27-26 to the Tampa Bandits. They're going to take on the New Orleans Breakers this coming Sunday, 2 o'clock. And y'all shout out to Chris Dishman. He's the defensive coordinator for the New Jersey Generals. They suffered their first loss in the USFL, but they are truly one of the teams to beat in the USFL. Truly one of the teams to beat. All right, without further ado, let me wrap this thing up. We got Sybil Wilkes we'll get to, what you need to know. And then, of course, I will be back tomorrow. Lord say the same for Winning Wednesday. I got to check in on Ryan Peoples and see how he's doing again. His father passed away. He was the winner of the Lunch Break Bracket Challenge. We still owe him $500. We get that money put up for him. All of the sponsors have put the money up. But we'll be getting started with the Lunch Break Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge, when the regular season of the NFL starts. If you don't know what that is, that's where you'll have a chance to pick the winners every single week of the NFL games. You pick the games from Thursday night all the way through Monday night. And the Monday night game, you pick the exact final score of both teams. That will be your tiebreaker. You'll get a chance to win $50 for 18 straight weeks. 18 straight weeks of the regular NFL season. And then if you're in the top 6 at the end of the year, you get a chance to compete for $500 cash. So be sure to get ready for that. Let your friends, let your family know about that so you can get in on it. Let's see. Before I go, he said, I got Freddie Coleman coming on this week. Man, that's why I tell you, brother, you are a genius, man. You got a phenomenal show, phenomenal platform, and that's why folks want to rock with you. Can Nick Caserio keep those thoughts to himself? He needs to. He needs to. All right, y'all, I'm gone. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it except meet me here tomorrow at noon, all right? Let's have a little lunch break. All right, let's go ahead and go with Sybil. No, let me do this, and then I'll go with Sybil Wilkes right after this. Y'all take care. Talk to you tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alexia McClurkin. I'm the founder of 9 Months of 5K, a nonprofit that was started to dispel the misconception that pregnant women shouldn't work out during their pregnancy. We are focused on health, fitness, nutrition, and wellness. We're hosting our annual 5K on Mother's Day.
Folks, with what you need to know, today is Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. Number 1. The first multi-state contest of the 2022 midterm election season unfolds today, Tuesday, as Ohio voters go to the polls to pick nominees for governor and the U.S. Senate and other offices, while Indiana voters consider whether their legislature should become even more conservative. For Democrats, a potential threat to incumbent U.S. Representative Shontel Brown in Cleveland is of keen interest. Brown is locked in a rematch against progressive challenger Nina Turner, a former state senator and surrogate for Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' presidential campaigns. Turner is trying again after losing to Brown in last year's special election. Number 2. Vice President Kamala Harris held a virtual meeting with leaders from 15 Caribbean nations to discuss a variety of topics, ranging from economic recovery following the COVID-19 pandemic to the climate crisis and security. A particular concern to many Caribbean nations is the increasing threat of climate change, the Vice President acknowledged after the meeting. While the various island nations do not contribute much to global greenhouse gas output relative to larger nations, the resulting rising sea levels, changes in rainfall patterns, and increasing temperatures will impact millions of people living on coastlines in the years to come. Number 3, blazers in knit fabrics, pants with drawstrings or elastic waist, and polo shirts are the new button-down. After working remotely in sweats and yoga pants for 2 years, many Americans are rethinking their wardrobes to balance comfort and professionalism as they return to their reopened offices. They're giving a heave-ho to the structured suits, zip-front pants, and pencil skirts they wore before the COVID-19 pandemic and experimenting with new looks. This has retailers and brands rushing to meet workers' fashion needs for the future of work at the office. Number 4, a teacher at Rochester School of the Arts is on leave facing a host of allegations of racist behavior, including placing handcuffs and leg shackles on his mostly black students. 20-year RCSD veteran Patrick Rausch referred to himself as Massa and allowed white students in the classes to stop when they complained, but not black students. The district confirmed the cotton-picking lesson did take place, saying it was of great concern. An email went out to all families of 7th grade students at the school this week. Number 5, knowing the kiddie tax rules will help you plan around them to be tax efficient, as it can save you thousands, but it can also lead to unpleasant tax surprises. To keep parents from shifting income to their children, any of the child's unearned income, which is above a certain threshold, is taxed at a parent's usually higher tax rate. Learn more about the kiddie tax in today's What You Need to Know newsletter, brought to you by Texas CPA Katrina M. Kraft. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. A wise person seeks counsel from the wise. All right. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedian Damon Williams and contributor Cameron Riley as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SybylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.